bored. Look me up, cause I'm such a junkie. Every day all I want is more. So entertain me right now. So entertain me right now.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Junkie podcast. I am Nicole here with my other junkies,
Olivia
and Shauna.
And I have missed talking to you guys. It's been quite some time, I feel like.
I know. Every day apart is just sadness in my life.
I know.
It's good to see your faces again. I'm excited for our topic today.
It's gonna be Britney.
It's Britney, bitch. Boom, ba-dum, ba-dum.
It's gonna be Britney.
I have something I have to show you guys before we really get into the Britney tea. So I have this, and I guess anybody who's not watching on video can't see, but I have this Britney Spears doll that I've had since I was a child.
Iconic.
From her Hit Me Baby One More Time video. Isn't she so perfect?
She's so cute.
Pigtails.
She's amazing.
She is so sweet.
Oh my God. Whoever bought this for me left the price tag on. It was $20 in 1999. And
it's still, have you ever taken it out of the box?
Oh yeah, she's been played with for sure.
Okay.
She sits up on my shelf with my Spice Girl dolls. Oh, she's been played with. We're going to get to it. People have been playing with our girl her whole life.
We were making Britney and the Spice Girls scissor in Barbie Land all day.
Oh my God. I know. I probably made her scissor, at least Baby Spice, because they both had the pigtails.
They both had the blonde hair. It just felt right. You're just creating.
It just worked.
True.
But yes, so she is here in spirit with us today, watching over our episode. Yes.
And Olivia, aren't you wearing a shirt?
Yes, I'm literally wearing my Britney t-shirt. I'm wearing the tighter of the two Britney's t-shirts that I own, and mainly because I couldn't find the loose one, but it's all great.
We support.
Yes, I when I was younger, I went to the Dream Within a Dream tour. I was in like second grade. Yeah. And I remember getting merch, and my mom used to like save sentimental things. And I'm like, how did you not save that? Like, come on, girly.
I think back and like, I know I got a shirt at the Spice Girls concert that I went to, and I don't have that anymore. And I just wish I would have held on to stuff like that, because I totally like, I don't know. I not that I could fit into it anymore, but
yeah. Well, that was my first concert ever, was Britney Spears. And that is just amazing. Yeah. I was in Chicago when I lived there. And yeah, just like so many memories of Britney Spears. I mean, like when you were younger, like what's your core Britney memory? Like when you think about Britney Spears, what is that?
I remember like seeing Britney on TRL. I mean, I was always a huge Britney fan. I would get every single CD the minute it came out, have my parents take me to like Circuit City.
Or like FYE.
The CD, yeah. And anytime I would see Britney on TV, it almost felt like I was seeing my friend on TV. It felt like, you know, you have those celebrities and they kind of feel like your buddies. Like she felt like somebody I could hang out with, even though she was, you know, older than me. She was like the cool teenager. But gosh, just dancing, so much dancing. Me and my friend Stephanie would put on like disco balls in her living room. And I remember we were choreographing some routine to I Can't Get No Satisfaction.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, so good. And I had Crossroads on VHS, and gosh, I watched that so much.
I found my Crossroads like DVD when I was like cleaning out my closet the other day, and I was just like, how did this just pop up? It
I love that.
So
we need to rewatch.
Serendipitous.
I think it went back into theaters. I saw something about it was going to maybe limited edition or something for the release of the book. So if anyone hasn't watched Crossroads, I highly recommend it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So good. And I don't know if it's like Shonda Rhimes' first movie necessarily, but it definitely like pushed her into the zeitgeist. And like, I like to think of Britney as like a catalyst to starting Grey's Anatomy. Like she wouldn't have had like those like a butterfly flapped its wings. Britney starred in a movie, and now we have like Grey's Anatomy. And,
I agree. And she launched Zoe Saldana's career, obviously. I'm sure she was on other stuff before that too, but she was great in that movie.
Yeah. So
what about you guys? What are your first core Britney memories? I mean, I guess you said you went to that concert. That was your first one, right?
Well, I think this is like a common female child experience where you would have to like choreograph your own moves. Like you would look at the music video, but then you would be like, well, I can't really do that. I'm not that talented. She's one of the best dancers in the world.
Yeah.
So you would like come up with these other ones. But yeah, I just remember like her with the beaded curtain in that like brown vest with the leather, like
I had
brown
that
leather
poster in my
pants.
bedroom for sure.
Literally, it was my dream to have a beaded curtain forever. And I ended up making one and I had it like in my post-college apartment. And it is so inconvenient to have in a doorway. You get stuck on it. You get tangled in it.
I had one too. And my parents made me take it down because they would be like, anytime my mom tried to come in my room, she'd be like, what the fuck?
And they'll get like knotted around you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was like really like feeding my inner child to like have that. But I think she was just so like you mentioned, like she seemed so friendly and like she was like a down to earth Southern girl who was also a pop star. And like, I think she's really like that last like person that we saw that was like, oh, fame is amazing, you know, like I would love to be famous. And then really, as we'll get into and as what the book is about, like fame is actually quite bad and can be really, really destructive. But I think when I was the biggest Britney fan, like I was like, oh, I want to be her, you know?
Me too. Because I took dance classes all growing up. Like I was a competitive dancer. I can't sing for shit. You know, Britney's not the best singer in the world. Like she's a performer. Yeah. She's the whole package. And, you know, I'm not going to shit on Britney's voice. I don't think she's some bad singer. But, you know, she doesn't have the vocals of like Christina. But she has the personality and the dancing and just like the charisma. She got that riz.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, it seems so fun to be famous. I want to be a dancer and a singer like Britney, but not anymore. Jesus.
You know, you saying that, I don't know if you ever saw the Star Search episode of Britney Spears when she was like really little. So she had a very deep, deep voice and a lot of like lung power. But they actually like when they were doing the Hit Me Baby One More Time stuff, they trained her and forced her to sing in the oh my baby.
Yeah.
And so
I noticed
like
that her voice was so much deeper.
She's messed up like her vocal cords almost to where like, you know, that deepness that she had is gone because she was singing like this, you know?
One song that you can really hear like her original deep vocals on was on the Pokemon, the first movie soundtrack. And it was a song called, I had that CD too. My brother and I listened to that CD nonstop.
That just unlocked a core memory for me.
Dude, and everyone listening just went, every millennial, oh God. Mewtwo! And it was called Soda Pop. And like, it didn't have anything to do with the movie. Open the soda pop, watch it present pop. Listen to that song again and you can hear how deep her vocals are. And it's really just, that song's an underrated bop.
I love that. So really funny fact. So when Britney Spears first got started as a pop star, like all the other record labels and companies were essentially trying to recreate a Britney. And so that's really where Christina Aguilera was birthed from. But I think this is the funniest thing in the world. So Christina Aguilera, with her first album, was marketed as Arabian Britney.
Arabian.
She's Arabian, like, and that's why she was like belly dancing.
Genie in a bottle. Oh,
but it's like,
God.
This is a woman from Pennsylvania.
Yeah. And if anything, she's like Latina, right? Like, isn't she?
I think her parents are. Yeah. One of her dad, I think is.
Arabian
but like,
Britney. Oh
you know,
God.
in all fairness, like aside from when she was doing blackface in her dirty era, like Christina Aguilera is like a blonde white woman, you know?
Oh, yeah, she's absolutely like a white woman or white passing.
Yeah, and so it's really, really funny. Jessica Simpson was like the Christian Britney.
Yeah.
But they were all trying to recreate it, but...
And Mandy Moore, her little pop career.
Yeah, oh, so good. Miss her.
And I loved all of them, but Britney was always the queen, right? Like I had posters here and there in my room. Okay, let me rephrase that. My room looked like the inside of a Teen Bop magazine. It was posters everywhere, which I mean, if you see my office now, like it makes sense. And I would go get my dad and he'd be in the middle of watching like a Diamondbacks game. And I'd be like, can you come hang this new poster for me? And he's like, oh, right now? I'm like, yes.
I did it.
Bless his heart, he always did. But there were so many Britney posters, NSYNC, Hanson, TLC, Destiny's Child, Backstreet Boys. Like those were my go-tos.
Yeah, what they used to call it, like J4, would they give you?
Oh, yeah. I think J4 was one of them. Teen Beat, Teen Bop.
J14, that's it.
J14. Oh, my God. And they had like the big fold-out ones. I got one issue once, and it had a 6-foot-long poster in it. It was like a mega poster, and it had everybody. It had Britney, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Jennifer Lopez, 98 Degrees, Beyonce, everybody. And I hung it over my bed like my shrines.
And all my favorite people watch me sleep every night.
And then eventually my parents slowly watched as all those got taken down and My Chemical Romance and The Used got put up.
Right. They're like, we lost our baby girl.
I know. They're like, we missed the other ones. We missed Britney.
We take it back. We take it back.
We take it back. These are too sad.
Yeah, right. I love that.
Yeah. What's your first memory then, Nicole, of Britney or Britney mania?
I wasn't like a huge fan of her.
Yeah, I feel like you just missed it.
Yeah, because I was so young. But my sister, who is 29, should be 30 next year, she was like prime Britney, so she was a huge fan. But I guess my memories of her is probably her main iconic moments, which were the snake performance.
Oh, the VMA performances.
Yeah.
And then her, unfortunately, I mean, it's not unfortunate if you read her book, which we will get into, and why she did it and everything, her shaving her head. And then the jeans.
It's an iconic Britney moment.
It is. And then the jean outfit with Justin on the red carpet.
Oh, yeah.
Like, those are just the memories I have of her as her iconic moments.
Like, you're like, oh, I saw that in the grocery store line. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, my God. Or the VMA performance where she takes off the tux and has that nude
or the
suit
Madonna
underneath
kiss.
it. Oh, my God. The Madonna kiss. All of these. Britney Spears for a long time, too, was like, for better or worse, my body goals, like as a child. Like I remember being like, oh my God, I want to look like Britney Spears when I grow up. Like I wanted boobs. I mean,
you probably did for a period of time.
I know,
like you were just young and had tight abs, you know?
Yeah, right. Oh my God, my abs looked like that and they haven't in years.
Yeah. I don't think they ever will again, honestly. You're not like freshly in puberty, so your body looks different, unfortunately.
It's weird how we age with the passage of time. But I wanted my belly button pierced so bad because Britney Spears had hers pierced.
Yes.
And I remember begging my mom to be like, can I get it when I'm 16? And she's because Britney has it. She's like, Britney's a pop star. You can get it when you're 18. And then I didn't do it until I was like 22, I think.
Yeah. I only had mine for like a year. I got over it quickly.
I take mine out since it got really infected. Do you have your belly button pierced, Nicole?
Yeah, I got mine.
Do you still have it?
Yeah, I got mine when I was 17. I'm 26 now, so almost 10 years.
It's probably like permanently there. Yeah.
My body just started rejecting it. It was like the day I turned 33, my body was like, too old for this shit now. And it started like pushing my belly button right now.
Yeah. I had to have kidney surgery and they were like, you can't keep that in. And by the time I got out, it was like closed. So I was like, not meant to be.
I wonder if Britney still has hers. I haven't noticed in her videos if she still has her belly button.
I think she does. Yeah.
I think so.
She's nothing if not a consistent queen.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah. I think one thing we were talking about Jessica Simpson and like Christina and all them. I think one part of Britney Spears that couldn't be replicated was just like her authenticity. Like all the outfits that we look at that we're like recreating now in 2000 style or Y2K was just Britney putting on a random outfit and like she liked it, so it was cool, you know. Like she was like picking up like a gas station sunglass and then like wearing it to a red carpet.
Yes, her little like Newsboys hats and that Dump Him shirt and the Starbucks, like oh my God,
iconic. You know,
give me that outfit right now. Give this married woman the Dump Him t-shirt, please.
Yeah. I mean, if you know anything about me, that's always going to be my advice to you is just dump him. Dump him.
Andrew left the toilet seat up. Dump him.
Dump him.
Jesus, Olivia.
It's unforgivable. It's unforgivable. We can't move on from this one.
We can't. Dump him.
Dump him. I just get it tattooed on my finger.
Just hashtag dump him.
Instead of the mustache, it just says dump him.
I mean, you have two fingers for a reason, Olivia. You could do the mustache and then dump him on the other one.
Dump him.
Dump him mustache. I'll be your boyfriend. Look at my mustache. Okay, let's get into Britney's new book, The Woman in Me. Let's break down from the beginning, kind of her life journey. Where are we starting?
Yeah, so we are starting in the lovely place of Kentwood, Louisiana. Mm-hmm. I don't know if everyone would call it lovely, but it is a place that gave us Britney Spears. So
that exists.
We're going to run with that. Really, like we kind of mentioned this in the beginning, Britney Spears was first initially found on a Star Search show. I think she was about 6 or 7 at this time, and she did not win. She actually got second place on that. But that really kind of started her off on getting a taste of fame or the limelight.
Exposure, yeah.
Yeah. And so, at the start of the Britney book, we do kind of like get a little bit of history about who her parents are and the story behind them. But really where Britney Spears' early career started is at the Mickey Mouse Club.
Mm-hmm. Like so many of her peers.
Yes, which most people are familiar with who comes out of this, but just in case you're younger, like Nicole or anything like that.
When you read this, Nicole, and you heard that like Ryan Gosling was in the Mickey Mouse Club, did you know already? Or was that like a surprising?
No, I knew like Christina was, Justin was.
Yeah. Christina, Justin, Ryan Gosling. I can't remember.
Carrie Russell.
Oh, Carrie Russell.
From Felicity, yeah.
Yeah. And so there's a ton of talent that was coming out of that. And Britney originally had auditioned, but she was 2 years too young to actually go on to the Mickey Mouse Club. So they wanted her to come back and audition whenever she did meet that age criteria. So in this time between like Star Search and really getting started on Mickey Mouse is kind of like where she spends the time with her parents. Like after she makes it big, after Mickey Mouse Club, like she's really not ever living with her parents again. She's not actually even taken care of by her parents. She's taken care of by a woman named Felicity. I think that's her name. What was really interesting to me, and I'm kind of interested to hear y'all's point of view, is in the book, she goes into a lot about her father's side of the family and their issues with mental health.
Yeah.
And so, I thought that was a really interesting juxtaposition. And we're going to talk a lot about Jamie Spears because he is the main villain in this story. But in the book, they talk about how his mother is
Jean, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. About how she was struggling with mental health and ultimately ended up taking her own life. Before we get into anything further, major trigger warning. Like if you came into this and
this
thought,
whole episode, unfortunately, I mean,
at the beginning we were a little like sunshine and rainbows, but if we're getting into the book now. So obviously, Britney's story is so inspiring to a lot of us, but it's also steeped in turmoil and
trauma
and horrible
for
things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it is interesting that she talked about her family history with mental health and just kind of trauma forms trauma, right? I mean, the abused abuse, and that's just what they know. And I'm not making excuses at all. I mean, it's up to people to break the cycle at some point, but it makes so much more sense how she gives the insight into how her father was raised. And even as much as he hurt her and her whole family hurt her, you can see little hints throughout the book of her still trying to make little, not excuses, but rationalize it. It's like, when you go through trauma like that, you have to rationalize it in your own mind, especially because you don't want to accept that the people that are supposed to love you and protect you are actually the ones that are going to abuse you, right? So many people whose spouses abuse them, they'll be like, oh, he won't do it again. Or like, it was just a one-time thing. Like, you try to rationalize it. And so I could see hints of her trying to do that throughout the book.
Yeah. And it's so interesting. I can't remember if she talks about this in the actual book or not, but like they were so incredibly dirt poor that her dad was going outside and like hunting rabbits. Like they were eating like possum, like just to be able to feed their family. So they do come from rough backgrounds. They were really kind of working their way out of poverty. And I think for me, it's like, oh, how could you see your mother go through that and then do that, like not be there for someone, like, you know, the gravity of that situation. Right. I think as we go through this timeline and our review of the book, like Jamie Spears is just, how can you even put reason to someone treating their daughter like that?
Absolutely. Just so exploitative. And, you know, and she talks about how her family was poor too. And like she first was, you know, the only child, and then how different Jamie Lynn Spears' upbringing was because there was money in the family all of a sudden. So it's like she didn't have to experience the scraping by that Britney did, because by the time Jamie Lynn was born, there was money coming in. So she had to deal with her parents being divorced or anything, you know, which is traumatic enough. But it's just the two different upbringings of these girls.
Yeah, right. And so she did the Mickey Mouse Club in 1992. So she pretty much after 1992 goes back to Kentwood, Louisiana, and has like her only time as like a normal middle schooler, high schooler. And, you know, I thought her candidness in this was so interesting. I was taking some notes as I was like going through and reading the Woman in Me. I read in a day. So I was going for it. But, you know, she's talking about how her mother would give her alcohol at 12 years old.
Yeah,
and
I forgot about that.
Drinking White Russians. They were having daiquiris. Like, and it was really like Lynn would parentify Britney when Jamie was acting bad or being abusive or being an alcoholic. She would take Britney and give her alcohol and like go on these like girls trips. And I just thought it was so interesting that, you know, how could you be giving your child White Russians and then letting them drive your car without a license?
It's insane. And, you know, and it's funny because Britney writes about it, that these were great memories for her. Like when she talks about drinking with her mom, it was like, that was the one time that her mom got to like really bond and spend time together and get away from her dad. Like she talks about it like, oh, I loved those girls trips. I loved those daiquiris and spending time with my mom, which is really sad. Like that's your bonding memory with your parent. But
yeah, it's like the last vestige of like the mother-daughter relationship, I think, for them. Yeah. It's the last time she was in their home, the last time like Lynn was ever there.
Yeah, absolutely. So after Mickey Mouse Club and after high school is when she gets her record deal, right? Or she goes to audition, gets the record deal.
Yeah, so there's like a 2 or 3 year period where she is living in Kentwood. She's like trying to make stuff happen. In 1997, she meets with Lou Pearlman, which, if you know anything, suspected child abuser, confirmed to have stolen a ton of money from NSYNC, a ton of money from the Backstreet Boys. They actually both won their cases suing Lou Pearlman for money, but he subsequently ended up dying. What I wanted to kind of make note of, the things that stuck out to me in the book, is before we ever were reintroduced to Britney Spears, she had lost her virginity at that time.
That's right. She said she lost it, what, at 14?
13. Queen. Yeah. Twins. 13,
go on.
Yeah, sorry, Mom. Don't listen to that one. You heard nothing. I said 18.
She says she's still a virgin right now.
Yes. I am saving myself for marriage, Mother. One thing that I thought was really interesting is she actually has an 18-year-old boy sneaks in to her house when she's 13 and hooks up with her. It doesn't necessarily say that it was that guy, because she just mentions that she lost her virginity in going into the 9th grade.
She was 13 and she had sex with an 18-year-old. I didn't catch those ages in the book.
Yeah, so she tells a story about an 18-year-old. I don't know if it was the 18-year-old that took her virginity.
Okay, yeah.
It was her best friend's brother, though.
Jesus.
So that was really, really interesting. And it just shows like how crafted and like from the beginning when we first met Britney, like she was being controlled and told what to do.
Posed as this virgin. I mean, so many pop stars. Isn't that weird to think back in that time in history where they were trying so hard to convince all of us that all of these singers were virgins? Like, why the fuck did that matter? Even with the Jonas Brothers and all of their like purity rings and stuff, right? Perverts, fucking perverts. Like, why does it matter that these teenagers are virgins or not? Why are we talking about them having sex? Like, that's no one's business. And I couldn't even imagine now, like, when Billie Eilish came out as a teenager, not that she didn't face rampant sexism and like the patriarchy, because that's still strong. But like, I'm glad that we toned down the like, well, are you a virgin? Because like, fuck you. Like, that's none of your business. I don't know. Yeah. It's such a weird kind of thing to think back on. We were all so into virginity pledges and oh man.
Yeah, and it was so different for women, where it was like men, nobody cared.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
I mean, I think Billie Eilish like tried to really avoid that by wearing like giant clothes on stage, and then like a picture of her in a tank top got out, and she was like,
I know,
just walking around, and
never freaks out she has breasts.
Yeah, and like sexualize her. They're like, oh my god, that's what's under all those clothes. It's like she's 16 years old. Like,
you're disgusting. Like, and looking back at the video clips from Britney's past, and I know there's one that's been going around the internet lately. Just kind of
about
it's
her
like
boobs.
It's in this compilation of why do millennials have such like bad relationships with food and their bodies, and it's all these clips that we were exposed to growing up, and it's this interviewer just like, everyone's talking about it, you know, your breasts, and she's just like, my breasts, like, why on earth were people talking about a teenage girl's breasts is beyond me. It's just, it's so disgusting. But there you go. And
yeah, no, I completely agree. And you know, there's a lot of moments that stuck out to me in the early life. Like, Britney is driving Lynn's car and Jamie Lynn's in the car, and she almost crashes and like kills all of them. But like, what's not said in those early chapters is like, how is Lynn so messed up that she wasn't able to drive, and she has a 13-year-old, and she like pulls the wheel away, like. It's just really irresponsible, and you kind of see the beginnings of how like things could go so wrong for her, and
how
like
her family life is going to impact her for the rest of her life and her future. Like, the signs were always there.
Yeah.
So she signs with Lou Pearlman. She goes on to record Baby One More Time, right?
Lou Pearlman tries to sign her to Innocence, which is a girl group that he was starting, and she decides not to do it. And so she decides to go off on her own, and she actually goes to have a meeting with Larry Rudolph, Satan number one in our story, or many of Satan. So she signs with Larry Rudolph, and they kind of immediately get her started. So they send her to Germany to start recording and kind of test her out on that side. And so this is where that image is really created. And she kind of talks about how she was just so excited as a new musician to be able to.
She just wanted to perform so bad. Like, that's something that stuck out to me too, not to cut you off, but just how excited she was to dance and sing, right? Like, that was just her passion, is performing. And like, she was so innocent. She talks about it. She mentions it over and over in the book. Like, I was so naive. I was so innocent. I just wanted to dance and sing. Like, I don't know. So I think that's
well, she
when
even
she
like
first
came
got
up,
signed, how excited she was.
Yeah, she even like came up with the music video and like changed it and was like, this isn't how people would react in high school, and like had a lot of that creative control and an it factor that just made her what she was. Like, even though there's a machine behind her, you couldn't recreate what Britney was doing.
Yeah.
And so she does a really fun thing called mall tours. So,
oh my gosh, mall tours.
In the 90s and 2000s, like, how are you going to get in front of the youths other than going to the mall and performing? So she really kind of gets her start there and starts opening for NSYNC, I think.
That was the first group that she opened for. And I know she already knew Justin from the Mickey Mouse Club. So they become fast friends.
Yeah. And with that, you know, her and Justin start becoming a lot closer. And, you know, one thing that I'll say, despite all the headlines that we've seen about like the crazy things in the book, like I think Britney is very kind in this entire book and gives consideration to people that maybe don't necessarily deserve it.
She gives a lot of grace to Justin and to Christina.
Yeah.
Like, I think she never calls anyone, you know, bad names. She just kind of lays out like, exactly, this is what I experienced. This is what happened to me. I was sad in this moment. He did this and he said this and it made me upset. You know, it wasn't ever, I don't know. She handled it with a lot of maturity, which, you know, and grace that these people might not really deserve.
Yeah, for me, like what just broke my heart is like the woman's name is Alicia. That's what it is. So like she never really had a family, right? And so she saw like a lot of home and family in Justin's family. Yeah. And so a lot of the time when you come from a background like that, like your boyfriend isn't just that. It's like his family, his mother, that whole support system as well.
I remember that with my teenage boyfriend. Like, my family was going through crisis. My mom was really ill and I was dating this guy and his family would have me over, you know, almost every night for dinner. And I really wanted to break up with him. There was a part of me that was like, oh man, wonder if I could still hang out with his mom.
It's like the Sex and the City episode.
Oh yeah, I know. I was like, oh, I'm going to miss his mom so much. Like she was so great. Shout out to, I don't want to say her name.
Don't say their name.
No. Shout out to Mrs. Ex-Boyfriend's mom. I hope you're doing real good right now.
Shout out to Janice. Still
Janice.
Think of it.
Oh, that's just my aunt.
Oh.
But yeah, shout out Janice. She listens.
Yeah. Sup, homie.
But no, I you know, Justin was her family during that time and they grew so close. And just, I mean, as her career went off and as Baby One More Time, her first album came out and she shot to fame so fast. It was just like the minute Hit Me Baby One More Time dropped, it was just the sky's the limit. I feel like it was so fast. That music video was all over TRL, which she was on all the time.
Oh,
her and Justin kind of became that like cute pop culture it couple. Oh, they're so sweet and innocent. These virginal teenagers, you know. And then, as we mentioned, the other pop star singers come out. Christina drops her album. The way she talks about Christina in the book is interesting, too. Because I know before it came out, people are like, oh, my God, Christina, how are you going to react? She really doesn't say anything poor against Christina Aguilera. She does not. Like, she mentions that later, Christina and Justin do a photo shoot together that kind of hurt her feelings.
Yeah. And the only other real thing that she says, other than like, Christina said they should get back together. I think that's like all she mentions. And then later in the book, when she's in Vegas, she talks about how Christina employed a lot of the same dancers that Christina did. And so they met up with her and she was like, she was messed up.
Yeah. And even even that part, I kind of saw as Britney being like jealous of Christina.
Yes. Yeah.
Because Britney wasn't allowed to drink in Vegas with her dancers. And here's Christina having like the time of her life in Vegas, drunk, being just a young woman, you know?
And so famous, like, rich woman. Yeah,
exactly. And Britney's like, she was messed up and I couldn't even have a sip of rum and Coke, as she would later put it, you know? I'm trying to think of the Justin timeline here. I know they're together for a couple years and then he breaks up with her over text message.
I also feel like we're missing a huge thing, which in the book she mentions that I didn't even know about, that he made her get an abortion.
Oh yes. God, we didn't even cover that part. Let's go back. Put this shit in reverse. So Britney mentions that her and Justin, she gets pregnant. Justin's the father. He vocalizes that he's not ready to have a baby yet, which, you know, that's fine. I understand that. You are very young. You're in the public eye. Maybe you really aren't ready to have a baby. So that is his choice and absolutely his right to vocalize, right? He encourages Britney to get an abortion, which she does. And she makes it seem like in the book, it was not what she had wanted to do. She wouldn't have made the choice if it was just herself. So it's really sad. And, you know, she talks about, it sounds like she got the abortion pill. As somebody who works in the industry, outing myself. she took the abortion pill. Sounds like she had her abortion at home. Which does have, the cramping and stuff that she mentioned. And
yeah,
gosh,
but that would have been
so sad.
That would have been like 2003. And you might know better than me. Like, wasn't the abortion pill like just invented then as well?
Yeah. So it's definitely come a long way. I mean, I don't think it was invented, that late in time, but
it wasn't like a common.
Yeah. Abortions have been around for as long as people have been able to give birth, just by various methods. But, I could see it absolutely being traumatizing to a teenager, to somebody who claims that they're, so innocent and just like naive of the world, which she says herself about herself. And it does physically hurt. Like, she's going to have cramping and go through it. Yeah. And if you want this baby and it's your boyfriend who's really telling you, I don't want this, and encouraging you to do it, she felt like in that moment, oh, I love him. He's the love of my life. I have to do this or he's going to break up with me. Right.
Yeah.
It's all so awful and traumatic. And,
the funniest part was him singing the freaking guitar at him.
Oh my God. I know. Can you imagine you're having an abortion and Justin Timberlake is just singing, I want to push you around. Well, I will. Can you leave the bathroom, please? God,
I was like, we're not safe from the strum of guitar at any moment of our lives.
I'm doing this for you and you did this to me. Get out of the bathroom, bro. So no shame at all to Britney Spears for having an abortion. I hope anybody who read this book did never think that in the slightest. Yeah. Shame on Justin Timberlake for encouraging her if this isn't what she wanted. But
I just think back then it's like, God, we didn't even have like that level of understanding of like how to talk to people about it. And like, now I feel like most men are like, oh, okay, well, it's your choice. Like, I'll do whatever. But that took a lot of education.
Exactly.
And like, like I think at that time, abortion was very much hidden. And the viral sound clip is like of Michelle Williams reading the part where focus.
Oh my God. He was immature, and you know what? He wasn't ready to be a father. Absolutely not.
You want Ramen Head to be your baby daddy? No.
And also, mifepristone was developed in the 1980s and approved in France in 1988.
Okay.
So definitely 80s, 90s abortion pill access. But, needless to say, if you want to get an abortion, absolutely, hell yeah. Call me, I'll hook you up. But if you were a man and a woman tells you she's pregnant, that is her choice. 100% what she wants to do with it.
Yeah. I think that language just wasn't there at that time, but would have been the most iconic baby ever.
Oh my God. That baby would have been adorable.
So iconic, just like pop royalty.
My favorite Nepo baby.
Yeah, right.
We would have saved that baby in the Nepo baby car.
We all would have had it in the car. 100%.
Oh my God.
100%.
But yeah, she talks about like the rise of NSYNC during this too. And like you said, pushes, genuine. And just Justin's cultural appropriation starting then.
God,
NSYNC wanted to be black and hip hop so bad, which she mentions in the book. Like, they hung out with black artists, and Justin started beatboxing. Do you guys remember that? When he was like,
how can I forget? How can I forget? He let it go
so bad.
He let it go well into sex, future music, love sounds as well. Like, it was just, I thought he was the hottest thing ever. But the real question is, were you an NSYNC or Backstreet Boy girly?
Oh, fuck.
I was Backstreet all day.
I was both. I think a little more Backstreet Boys, but I had posters of them side by side in my bedroom. I saw the Backstreet Boys in concert. They were my second concert. Spice Girls was my first one.
Oh, also iconic.
I know. I never saw NSYNC live. But yeah, I was obsessed with both of them. For sure.
I was
Blanche is my favorite, though.
That's why you're bisexual.
If Lance was your favorite NSYNC member, you're bisexual now.
Or a lesbian. I think it's more likely that you're a lesbian, but like bisexual will qualify.
I don't make the rules. Those are the rules.
100%. 100%.
I love Lance back.
If you found yourself as a child attracted to the men who would later come out as gay, you were also gay. Like, it's just, I don't make the rules.
You're gay. My favorite Backstreet Boy was AJ. I liked the bad boy. I think he's straight.
Okay. Okay.
Ooh.
I didn't expect that.
Those are the two sides of Shauna, though, right? Like,
AJ McLean and fucking Lance Bass.
I liked them both. I liked that blonde, clean cut boy, but then I also liked that bad boy.
You were trying to be a contrarian. You're like, everybody loves Nick and Justin, and I'm different.
I'm different. I'm not like those other girls.
I love that. That's amazing.
So NSYNC gets mega famous too. Britney and Justin have that iconic denim moment on the red carpet when they're a couple, like Nicole mentioned. Oh, they both look incredible. Amazing.
Yep.
And as I mentioned earlier, Justin eventually breaks up with her over text message while she's on the set of the Overprotected remix video, I think.
I think so, yeah.
And he's about to go on his solo career. And really, Britney says, like, I think that he broke up with me to get fuel for this album because it gained a lot of traction. Like, everybody, Britney cheated on Justin. She mentions, she kissed another guy once, basically because Justin, she knew he was cheating on her.
Wade Robson, yeah.
Yeah, like.
Which... A fun fact about Wade Robson, he is very cute. He was also allegedly molested by Michael Jackson.
Oh, fuck. I did know that.
Yeah, like he was like groomed by Michael Jackson when he was a child.
Jesus
but
Christ.
Sorry.
And he was Joey Fatone's body double in the dance portion of the pop music video for NSYNC. Anyway. We should squirrel. Pop culture knowledge.
It's oozing. It's oozing out of me. I can't help it. But yeah, the famous Cry Me a River music video comes out. It's with a Britney double lookalike. Yeah. And one of the things is he kind of like strings her along up until this music video to think she has a chance of getting
sending
back with
her
him.
Texts and stuff.
So she'll like approve it and all that stuff. And this really kind of begins her spiral and her breakdown. It eventually takes time. And because of how sad she is and like losing Justin and then losing the love of his family. She really starts.
This was the defining breakup for her life, for sure. This was that moment that I caught too in the book. Like, this is the catalyst when, even more than like the abortion, you know, and obviously her family, I think it was all building to a head of just like her family's issues and her dad's alcoholism and then her relationship and the abortion and then all of a sudden being dumped like that and being publicly dragged through the mud, right? Like, she went on that Diane Sawyer interview where she's like, what did you do to him? Oh, fuck Diane Sawyer.
Crazy.
But yeah, she makes it seem like this breakup was really like a defining moment in her life.
Yeah, and what this moment kind of leads us into is, which I wrote in here, I think it's so freaking funny what I wrote, and I was trying to remember what it was. So she's with the one and only Jason Alexander, MAGA's newest representative.
When you said that, though, anytime I hear his name, I think of the guy from Seinfeld.
No.
And I'm like, why was she hanging out with
Costanza? She was fucking Costanza?
I wouldn't have shipped it, but here we are.
It probably would have worked out better.
Honestly, they might have made a great couple.
Yeah, so...
But yes, Jason Alexander, a.k.a. the infamous 48-hour marriage or 72-hour marriage.
She starts talking about it, and they're watching Mona Lisa smile. And then they watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, also and then they end up in a wedding chapel in Vegas. Like, I was
Who
like,
amongst us?
What a progression. What a progression. Mona Lisa smile to Texas Chainsaw Massacre to getting married.
Okay, real quick. What two movies for each of you would lead up to your elopement? with your ex-boyfriend from high school?
Oh my God, none.
Okay, with just anyone, with like a dumb elopement, like Rachel and Ross going to the chapel. What 2 movies are you watching first?
Oh, fuck. It'd have to be like the sweetest rom-com of all time.
Yes.
Maybe like a How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Ooh, that's good.
But then I feel like it needs to be paired with a horror movie because I just love horror.
So that he can hold you too.
Yeah, then we feel all close and intimate.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'll go Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know? Reminds me of my childhood. I grew up there.
All right, what are you eloping to, Nicole?
Maybe 50 First Dates.
Oh, that's so good.
Why? Because you're going to forget the marriage in 48 hours?
Well, you know, if I was ever in that situation, I would like someone to do that for me.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's sweet.
And then if we have to pick scary, I guess I'll go with my iconic Halloween.
No.
That's good. That's good.
You think he could like jiggle the keys and open the door quickly?
Yeah.
He could jiggle his key into her. Sorry, that was so dumb.
You're already married, but what would yours be, Shauna?
If I was going to elope, let's think. Okay, so yeah, we would go with rom-com first. And I think I would go with, oh my God, I can't think of any rom-coms right now. Name a rom-com. She's All That? No.
Oh, that is a good movie.
Okay,
though.
we'll do She's All That then.
Okay. What's your scary movie?
And then we'll follow it up with, we will follow it up with, oh my God, I'm like, Hereditary.
This was
the
your
scariest
question.
movie ever. I know, and I didn't even have the answer to it. I'm thinking, okay, Evil Dead. We'll fill it up with the Evil Dead, and then we'll go get married. Okay, so now we're all eloped.
Horror in it. Yes, now we're all married, and this is going to be the first of like Britney's family seeing someone maybe coming in and taking like their throne, so to speak, where they don't like an action that she's taken, and they essentially like force her out of it and kind of like strong arm her with people are freaking out. You have to get this annulled. Blah, blah,
I love
blah.
that she was like, I didn't see what the big deal was. I thought it was kind of funny.
Literally. I had a friend who would literally always try to fly to Vegas with her boyfriend. Like, they'd just be like, we literally ended up at Phoenix Sky Harbor last night because we were going to go get married.
Oh my God.
Thank God they didn't. But yeah,
they never ended up getting married.
She thought it was the funniest thing ever. Whenever we'd be like, we're like, girl, what?
She's in a silly, Libra. Goofy mood.
She is a Libra. So that
big
makes
Libra
sense.
Energy.
Big Libra energy. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're going to get eloped on one of these flights. You're going to go like fly somewhere romantic and have too many daiquiris and be like,
Careful with that movie combo, you know? Careful
Don't
with
put
that
on the
movie
movies. Or do put them on if you want.
Yeah. That's the sign. Real men will know that that's the signal.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Just like, we haven't heard from Nicole in a few days. Check her Insta.
Like, I'm married.
She's in flip-flops and blue jeans getting married.
He made an honest woman out of her.
Aww. Something blue.
I love that.
All right, so this is going to be a 2-part episode. So with that being said, baby, we will hit you one more time with part 2. So where can the people find you?
You can find me, Olivia, on Instagram at Livie Mariez, LIVIMARIEZ, or on TikTok at Live Yo Life 420.
You can find me, Shauna, on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Shauna Trinidad, ShaunaTrinidad.
And you can find me, Nicole, on Instagram and TikTok at Nicole_Eldridge. You can find all of our links and everything else over at our website, www.popculturejunkie.com. And don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave reviews, download.
Give us those 5 stars.
Yes, everything like that. Because it does really help us. And also join our support group over on Facebook and join the Britney conversation. And if you read the book, leave us your reviews on the book and if you loved it, and we will continue to the discussion over there as well, because we can definitely go on about Britney for sure.
If the 2-parter didn't give it, we'd love it. Yeah.
And come back next week for another hit of Britney-based pop culture.
Pop Culture Junkie is part of the Pop Culture Entertainment Network.
So why